What's up? What it do? Free the real. I was thinking today, and I see a lot of people seem to be like down and depressed that Trump won the election. And I don't want to I ain't trying to get into no political conversation, but in football, if an adverse play occurs, a good quarterback, a good coach, they tell the team, next play. So technically, my advice to everybody who feel like something is wrong should be next play. Now, for me and mine, next play is going to be pardons. I'm not worried about, all the things that everybody else worried about. I let the other people that's worried about those things worry about those things. But I want y'all to watch this. I'm going to cover Trump. Trump is primetime TV, so I'm going to cover Trump with my own unique DC, returning citizen, urban subculture perspective, right? And I'm gonna cover every aspect of it, but this is what I want y'all to pay attention to, and I'm gonna go deeper into it. But I'm gonna just make 2 points, and I'm gonna follow those points up later on with like a real video for some research I was doing last night and this morning. But this is the dynamics that you're dealing with Trump as a United States resident, as a DC resident on my behalf. Number one is all y'all who hoping that Trump get, victimized by the justice system or the Justice Department, know that the United States Constitution and Supreme Court then basically made it impossible for them to do anything to a sitting president. He's immune from prosecution, and even if the states such as Florida or Georgia tried to prosecute, worst case scenario, they would have to wait 4 years to prosecute. So that's still not gonna interfere with it. But the other thing I wanna get to is this conversation about pardons. I'm gonna do a whole video on Trump's track record on pardons. He pardoned a bunch of people that was affiliated with his campaign, even people who admitted to doing things wrong, like the Army dude, Michael Flynn. I want to say Matafee is the other guy's name. I don't know those guys' names like I know rappers and, athletes. I'm not that much into politics. I'm only into a superficial sense of politics, but I pay attention to the politics that affect us. Anyway, I want y'all to watch out for the dude, Enrique something. He was the leader of the Proud Boys. He got 22 years, if I ain't mistaken. He believes he's going to get a pardon. Now, there's many other people that are January 6th defenders. They call themselves J6ers now, right? Bunch of them over CTF, what we call the DC Jail Department of Corrections. A bunch of them over CTF. You see them, you see their families outside. If you like me, you go to visit, you go put money on the kiosk. But the dude that got the 22 years, I want to see what the pardon is going to look like. Now, everybody always say Trump pardoned Lil Wayne and Kodak Black, if I ain't mistaken. All right, cool. But he also pardoned people like Harry O, bona fide convicted criminal. So while everybody else is worried about how much revenge he gonna take, I'm looking at it like this, and tell me if I'm wrong. I'm looking at it like this, bro. Trump is gonna be the next US president, the 47th president of the United States, with 34 felony convictions. Me and Trump got something in common when it comes to criminal records. So I implore all my men and all my people who got family that's in jail, instead of crying about Trump making America great again and this and that, while he putting them pardons in, let's ask for a pardon for people like Kevin Gray and Wayne Perry and some of the guys from our era and time that's doing a bunch of time. Brother Means, Tommy Edlin. Let me think of some people that got some non-violent charges that got a bunch of time. Man, we need to get a pardon for my man Opio Moore. He's doing life for 1 box of bullets because of federal sentencing guidelines. Shouldn't he get a pardon? He been in prison almost 20 years. So, I think we need to be asking for some pardons. Tony Lewis home because of Trump laws. see that comment. But what y'all think about that? So everybody, and I ain't knocking nobody's political preference. Just like I don't knock nobody's other preference. That's y'all business. But for me, he gonna be the president regardless. And remember this, like I told one of my partners, man, older partner of mine. He a staunch advocate against Trump. So outside of the internet, outside of the YouTube channel, I was messing with him. So I told him, he did a lot of time in prison, I mean decades. So he was like, man, they gotta go vote for Kamala. I said, bro, Kamala, prosecutor, how could you vote for her? Like, man, you gotta vote for anybody but Trump. So then I reminded him, I said, yo, you know, the laws that you got out of jail on, got Trump name on the bottom of it, right? He said, yeah, but man, they racist and this and this and that. Am I gonna focus on if Trump racist or not? Or am I gonna focus on what the president can do for me? And then we got a humongous movement in Washington, D.C. right now, for y'all that don't know. That's another point that I'm gonna go into too, because we got what's called home rule, which is basically a permission slip from Congress to say, go run your own city. I think Trump is upset with Democrats. I think Trump is upset with the District of Columbia. And I think Trump might actually try to free OG Steve. How could I miss that? I don't want to miss nobody. Y'all know what I'm saying. But I think Trump is going to show and flex to the world now that he understands the delicacy of the civilian life in the District of Columbia. I think he's going to try to take back home rule. I see a lot of young guys and a lot of guys that don't care about politics say, what's that, E? What's that, E? Home rule is the only reason that we have a mayor. Home rule is the only reason that we had a city council that could pass these bills and have budgets to do different things. Remember, all the money in D.C. comes from the federal government. About that 20-something billion budget is bigger than some states that come from Congress. Trump gonna have his hand on the purse straps. If Trump say we're gonna federalize the police report to him, not to a mayor. We're gonna get rid of home rule, which has been done before. I hope y'all not thinking I did some old thing. Like, they took home rule again from like 1995 to 2001 maybe. Don't quote me on the numbers, but it's about that. From 95 to 2001, DC did not have home rule. Years before that, going back to 1965, black nor white people could even vote in the District of Columbia. That's a new phenomenon. Everything in the District of Columbia is an experiment. So when y'all get to talking about what he can't do, what he won't do, he the president. If you don't like certain things that happen, you have to do what many people did in the mid 1960s and the early 1920s. You have to move to Maryland or Virginia or some other state so you have states' rights. Because as long as you're in the District of Columbia, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to have to experience taxation without representation. The only vote you have in the federal government is for the president. And according to the 3 electoral votes that the District of Columbia possesses, the president they voted for was Kamala Harris, and that's just not your president right now. Somebody called it. It's a federal district. That's why it's called a federal district. I mean, and even for y'all to think that, you know, when you catch a gun charge or any felony charge, a drug charge, an assault charge, and you go to Superior Court, how many of y'all, and this, I'm only talking to local people right now, because a lot of people that's not from DC don't know this, and some may, but if you may, let me clarify. Any felony that you catch in the District of Columbia is prosecuted by the United States Attorney's Office. What I mean by that is that people be talking about, oh, they state cases go to the feds. Everybody convicted of a felony in the District of Columbia is sentenced to the custody of the United States Attorney General. Donald Trump is coming in office. He's going to bring a whole new Attorney General. This dude, Jack Smith, that's this special prosecutor to prosecute him in the United States District Court of the District of Columbia, he's going to fire him immediately. Like, there's a whole bunch of things y'all need to be paying attention to. Everybody keep paying attention to someone racist or someone not racist, or Trump making it great again or not making it great again, or what's going backwards. I understand all that, man. I'm not slow. But he the president. He gonna make the rules of coming here. Watch how he go down. But my point is that he a 34-time convicted felon. Untouchable one, what's up? He done pardoned several people from his camp. Watch what he do with these January 6 people. A part of his campaign is that he's gonna pardon them. If he's gonna come in office and pardon all his people, we need to be lobbying and protesting and advocating for him to pardon some of our people, bruh. He definitely need to pardon OG Steve. He definitely need to pardon Opio Moore. Like, we got a whole bunch of guys that been in jail forever. We got Joe James been in jail 54 years, man. Where's all my big homie supporters, bruh? We gonna sit around and cry. We got a 34-time convicted felon going to the White House, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest Washington, D.C. He's moving into my quadrant, Northwest. He should pardon Larry Hoover. I mean, Kanye put that in his head. Now, if Trump pardoned Larry Hoover, Wayne Perry, Kevin Gray, Opio, OG Steve, all the January 6 dudes, I'm cool. Somebody said I made the most money when he was president last time. Soon as Democrats got back in the office, we were struggling. That's how y'all feel? How many felonies you got? I got one felony. I ain't ashamed to say I got one felony my whole life. And I'm 40-something years old. Trump need to get these folks to hit the like button. Hey, y'all, hit the like button for me, man. If y'all into this, I didn't think nobody was gonna be into this, but I'm gonna cover Donald Trump for 4 years. There has never been a felon in the White House. Like, for dudes who cover stuff like me, this content that I cover, there has never been a felon in the White House, a convicted felon. Do y'all understand the mag? Like how, for an example, shout out to Angela Also Brooks. Not only the first black woman, but the first black person from Maryland to go to the Senate. Shout out to Angela Also Brooks and her whole team. Shout out to Calvin Hawkins, Eddie Mathis, all those people over there doing great work in Prince George's County. But I'm more interested, and I've been thinking about this for 2 days. It's a 34-time convicted felon in the White House, bruh. Let's see what free to real really mean. But once he started to get charged and locked up, the black community understand what he was going through. But do y'all think he understands what the black community is going through? Because not all of the black community is going through that. All of the black community is black, but not all of the black community is poor. Not all of the black community struggles with poverty and lack of education. Not all of the black community struggles with mass incarceration. Yeah, it affects our community as a whole. You know, we make up something like 13% of the entire population of the whole country, 200 million some people. We make up almost 90% of the prison population. So you mean out of 200 million people in this country, we the only ones break the law? And out of 200 million people in this country, we only 13% of the population. You got states and counties that don't have a soul in it that look like us. Remember, they told us you couldn't be president and be a felon. I never remember they said you couldn't be president and be a felon. Like, you supposed to lose 3 privileges and rights when you go to prison: the right to bear arms, the right to hold office, and in some cases the right to vote. You feel me? What's up, little mama? In DC, you get 2 of them rights back anyway, though, bro. You get the right to vote back. We can vote in prison, although we can't vote for nothing but local stuff. But how many people you know can vote in prison? And maybe only 2 or 3 other jurisdictions that you can even get your right to vote back automatically. He said, I feel you, I'm from Forestville. I'm a veteran about. Shout out about Angela. We need to take care of America first and not these immigrants. They giving immigrants $30K in tax money and government funds. Bro, who cares if he has shit on his record? All we care about is if you do the job right. Respect that one. You on it, E. When I see these cops channels, it's always a ton of blacks on there. Hey. Oh, somebody said they want him to free Diddy. He the only convicted felon who can legally own firearms. What you mean he can legally own firearms? That might not be true. Free the real. Right to hold office. You just making crap up now. What you mean? Right to hold civic office is a real thing. Bruh, I'm not gonna educate you. Today is not the day for me to educate you. If you don't know that the three major things you lose with felony convictions is the right to bear arms, the right to hold office, and the right to vote, you tripping. Bruh, you done missed 101. This the gifted and talented class over here. In DC, not everywhere, but in DC and like 3 other jurisdictions, you automatically get your right to vote back and your right to hold office. We got people in prison that's been in prison that still hold offices like the ANC position, bruh. DC a different place. I'm not gonna keep on educating you, man. They supposed to teach you civics in like 8th grade. I mean, in DC civics probably be a little bit more complex. What you doing? I know DC civics more complex. If you don't understand that aspect of civics, and I went to jail at 16 in the 9th grade. If I know that, why don't you know that they have Google, bruh? He called the January 6th conspirators hostages. Well, he should free them. I mean, he got the power. He could push that button. He got a couple buttons he could push right now. He hates the feds. That's enough for me to side with him on that issue. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I don't wanna get political, but his disposition on what he calls the weaponization of the Department of Justice, I can dig it, bruh. I mean, look at what they do to certain people. They go and indict their whole families. They ruin their children's lives to get them to cooperate to get a whole nother conviction. Think about that. Who can't relate to that right there? Somebody said, I'm from Chicago and I'm a convict and I just voted. Salute to you. A lot of people can get their voting rights back. Like, the right to vote, if you want to vote these days, it's almost like all you got to do is take the initiative, bro. Somebody say free opio. For yeah. Oh, somebody said, yes, you lose the right to hold office as a convicted felon for a violent crime. Not for a violent crime, bro, for a felony, and it depends on what state you in. Like, please don't be halfway right over here, bro. You got to be all the way right. You can lose the right to hold office, and depending on what your jurisdiction is, based upon felony conviction. Violence ain't the issue. But somebody said, nah, we need to go take care of our nation's citizens first. I could dig that. You too nerdy for jail. That's why I ain't in jail then, maybe. Really, Obama started it. That's correct. That's a fact. Really, Obama started it with the rescheduling of crack laws. Trump is ENT further with it. That's correct. Obama and them did put a lot of work in. They changed that jump from the crack law from 101 to 18 to 1. So somebody do know what they talking about. I love when people know what they talking about. Scared to speak on the big dog. I don't know what you mean when you say scared to speak on the big dog. He pardoned hundreds of black men that did not have a chance of getting out. I'm gonna give him a shout out for that. Shout out to Trump for that. I always felt like that when he did that. I was never ashamed to say that. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Obama got my dad out of the 27 years. Bill Blast, who is your dad? Trump trying to run it up for himself financially. Everybody seem to be trying to do that. No one should lose the right to bear arms unless they're convicted of a violent crime. Well, what if they're convicted of a violent crime and they serve their time and they pay their debts to society and they live in the mountains of Texas? Should they not be able to have the right to bear arms? There are cougars and lions and tigers and bears out there. Yes, Obama screwed us with the health care. I don't know about that. I'm from DC. We get health care almost for free as long as we work. Minimal health care. Trump pardoned thousands. That's a fact. You can get your right to bear. I'll be back, y'all.